Hello, learners. Today we are going to deal with formal invitations. Alright? So, whenever we talk about formal invitations, they are sent to relatives, friends, acquaintances, etc. on social occasions. Formal invitations are written in the third person. For example, Mr. and Mrs. Radhakrishnan request the pleasure of the company of. Here, what you need to note is that in English, we have this etiquette that requires the husband's name to be written first. All right. So we have got the husband's name that has to be written first. So we have Mr. and Mrs. Radhakrishnan. Is that clear? Now, so that is what you need to note, because that's a very important point that we have in our English etiquette, to have the husband's name, which should be written first. So it should be Mr. and Mrs. S. Radhakrishnan. Then, avoid use of abbreviations for the names of guests, days, dates. However, the abbreviations RSVP, that stands for Respondez s'il vous plaît, which means please reply, is put at the bottom. All right, so that has to be put at the bottom. Clear? Then the subject matter is written in the center setting. Details like address, dress code, or any other instructions are written at the bottom, to the left or right, as per the choice or convenience. So whatever you feel is convenient, you can go according to that, but it has to be at the bottom. All right. Then there are certain important points that you should take into account. Now each main point is given in different line with different font and character of letters. The name of the host or the names of the hosts issuing the invitation. The standard expression has to be, made use of. That is, request the pleasure of the company of. So that's the standard expression that we are supposed to make use of. All right. Then the purpose and occasion for the invitation. What is the purpose? What is the occasion for which you are inviting the other person? That also should be taken into account. Clear? Then the time and date of the event. So the time and the date of the event, that again is very important. You need to know, and you need to write, you need to mention the time at which that particular, the event would take place, the date on which it would take place, and the venue. So these three things again play a crucial role. Then the name of the chief guest. In case a VIP is to be invited at any official function, her name needs to be mentioned in a very prominent way. So the name needs to be highlighted, it needs to be mentioned appropriately, it needs to be mentioned in a prominent manner. Clear? All right. Then the date of issuing the invitation is not mentioned. No punctuation is required at the end of a line. There is no signature of the writer at the end of the invitation. The simple present tense has to be made use of. Invitation has to be written in a box. Always make sure that your invitation is written in a box. Always draw a box. No abbreviations are to be used whenever we are talking about formal invitations. You are not supposed to make use of any sort of abbreviation. In official invitations, time by which the guests are to be seated may be given. So when we talk about official invitations, then the time can be mentioned by which guests are to be seated, so that they also know when they are supposed to be seated, and therefore they can make arrangements for the same. Now there are certain common errors which you should always keep in mind. So I hope you go through this. Not framed within a box. So if your invitation is not framed within a box, that's a major common error that has been see that seen that most of the students, they don't include it in within the box, they don't write it inside the box, they don't even draw. And the heading, formal invitation, not given outside the box, so it is not supposed to be mentioned outside the box. Then it should not be written in paragraph form instead of so it should not be written in paragraph form, right? Then not written in third person, each main point is different in different lines with different fonts and character of letters not given. Incomplete details like RSVP and program highlights. Incomplete designation is there. Complete designation of the chief guest is not mentioned. That's also a very common error. Special instructions like card admits to only or kindly be seated by not given. So if these instructions are not given, they are included under the common errors. All right. So these are the common errors which are made by certain which are made by some people. So do keep in mind the important points that you should take into account, and the common mistakes or the common errors, so that you do not end up making those mistakes. All right, if you like, then please do share and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next session.